It's heating up, y'all. It is heating up. So as we know, the Washington Commanders are going to be interested in edge rushers this offseason via trade, via free agency. And another guy just came available. And you already know who called that phone. Chef Adam Peters picked up the phone to get in contact with talking about getting Trey Hendrickson here in D.C. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career, and he's already milking injuries? Like,
stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she fly for him, and shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty love again now. She's confident.
Good, y'all. It's your man Juan Gotti here. Before we get into today's video, I want you guys to do me a favor, subscribe to my fitness channel as I'm documenting my journey from fat to fit. Link down below in the description. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders trying to trade for an edge rusher that put up 17.5 sacks. And also is going to be due for a new contract, Trey Hendrickson. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so I'd greatly appreciate if you reach this goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Trey Hendrickson has been made available, and Washington is one of the several teams that have been calling, trying to see what are they willing to give up or want, I should say, for Trey Hendrickson out of Cincinnati. As we know, Cincinnati values offense. They want to outscore you, so they have to pay Jamar Chase. They franchise tag T. Higgins. They're already paying Joe Burrow $55 million a year, so we already knew that this was going to be the reality of the situation. And with Washington being in the edge rusher market, because we desperately need to upgrade that position, this became a potential suitor about a month and a half ago. I know everybody, including myself, wants Myles Garrett, but if the Browns are not interested in trading Myles Garrett and is going to stand on that kind of decision to not move Myles Garrett, well, this is another guy that you could look to have. He just turned 30 years old, and he's coming off of yet another 17.5 sack season. And now, originally, when I first saw this, I heard that he would want $30 million a year, and I was like, you know what? He's worth the $30 million, but I'm more so scared about the draft compensation to get Trey Hendrickson here in Washington.
Because Trey Hendrickson, no matter where he gets dealt, will certainly have to get an extension. You're probably going to lessen the trade compensation. So let's just say it's a third-round pick. At the end of it, if they are going to deal Trey Hendrickson, it's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of a high 3 in order to ship him out.
Well, here's the thing, and this is similar to the Myles Garrett situation that I kept trying to tell people. He may not require as much as we think he's going to require, for the simple fact that if you trade for Trey Hendrickson, he's going to want another contract. He's going into the final year of his deal where he's worth about $15-16 million. He's due that this year. But of course, if he's putting up 17.5 sacks the last 2 seasons, you don't expect that big of a drop-off if you're trading for him. You're going into it with the mindset of wanting to keep him here long-term, or at least letting him finish out his career here. So, of course, he's going to be looking to get paid 3 years, 30+ million, what may have you. However, here's the thing. Max Crosby just got paid $35 million a year yesterday, $106 million 3-year deal. And they still have Trey Hendrickson. Although he's statistically better than Max Crosby, they still have him getting less than one Max Crosby. So if you could find a way to get him for maybe 3 years, $100 million flat, 3 years, $96 million with a bunch of incentives, and then maybe you could find a way to land Trey Hendrickson. And as far as the draft compensation goes, the CBS insider hinted at this trade being similar to the Khalil Mack to the LA Chargers trade, where essentially the Chargers have already they had to give up a 2nd round pick, I believe, and I think a 6 as well, to get Khalil Mack to LA. And the only difference is Khalil Mack was already under contract at the time when he went to the LA Chargers. With Washington, again, this is kind of plays in our favor when it comes to having to give up potential draft capital. He's not on a contract, so we can use that as leverage when we're talking trade discussion with the Bengals. It's like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all want something for Trey Hendrickson, but y'all gotta understand we need we need to pay him if we do in fact trade for him. And I think Max Crosby just getting signed, and it coming out that he's signing a 3-year, $106 million deal may also play in factor in of Washington being able to use his leverage. Is, hey, but you see how much Max Crosby's playing, man. So if you want us to, you know what I'm saying, go through with this trade, can you cut us some slack? Like, we gotta give him $100+ million. That may not be your ultimate goal is to pay him $100 million. You can pay him close to, but again, you don't necessarily negotiate what you really want. You try to talk him down to what you really want. So Washington's whole mindset could be, we'll pay him $100+ million for 3 years, but when we talking to Cincinnati, we're gonna try to make it sound, as harsh as it is. Like, hey, y'all, look, can y'all be a little bit lean on the draft capital that you want back from, because we gotta pay him $100+ million. Just so what Max Crosby got is not getting any cheaper. Look out. So essentially, what I say is, again, the CBS reporter hinted that it may only cost Washington or any team that's interested in trading for Trey Hendrickson a 3rd-round pick. And again, for me, I'm low-key scared to continue to give up draft picks, but at the same time, if it's for guys like this, I don't see a way you can pass up on it. I mean, this guy is back-to-back 17.5 sacks in the season. That is just insane. And he's only 30 years old, and he seems to be aging very, very well with his skill set. He's just a dog. He's a Terry McLaurin kind of player. Like, ain't nothing that stands out specifically about him, but he's going to go out there and just play lights out. In his last 5 seasons, going all the way back to 2020, he had 13.5 sacks, 25 tackles. 2021, 14 sacks, 34 tackles. 2022, 8 sacks, 32 tackles. 2023, 17.5 sacks, 43 tackles. And in 2024, 17.5 sacks and 46 tackles. So you cannot tell me that this guy is $20 million worse than Max Crosby. So that's the thing. You're going to have to pay him good money. He wants that. And quite frankly, we have the cap space for it. And this is a big position of need. Do you understand? If we find a way to trade, we bring back Dante Fowler, you may also add a Chase Young in there or another free agent, because you guys know I'm big on bringing Chase Young back as like a 3rd option, 4th option. So even if it's not Chase Young in free agency, it could be somebody else. And you already got Dorrance Armstrong. This edge rusher unit could simply turn from one of the worst parts of this defense to one of the best parts, especially for pass rush. Now, again, I always allude to bringing in Chase Young for his run stopping purposes. We know Chase Young doesn't have the best motor. We know he isn't going to ultimately get after the quarterback on a consistent basis. But the one thing that we do know about Chase Young is that he contains the hell out of some run. And what was the biggest thing with Washington last season that a lot of you all allude to all the time is that we were getting killed on the boundary runs. I'm saying that's why we had to put Deron Payne out there, as well. So you bring in Trey Hendrickson for pass rush purposes, and he can assist in the run game, and then on obvious rundowns, you maybe go heavy, put Deron Payne out there in the middle. Obviously, whoever we get to replace John Allen, then you go Chase Young and Dorrance Armstrong heavy on obvious runs. That could be something that we look at, and I like it. I really do. I'm all for paying him the money that he wants. Especially if we get the draft capital lessened, maybe a 3rd. What if AP finds a way to get this done for a 4th? Like, again, I'm so scared to continue to give up all this draft capital, but bro, we're all in, and a lot of people don't view this 2025 draft class as that high, as an overall class. Now, there's certain positions like the tackle and stuff like that, and running back that are really good, highly thought after. But as a whole class, a lot of people are already turning their heads to the 2026 draft class. That's why Christian Kirk just went for a 2026 7th-round pick to Houston. So, hey, look, if AP can pull this off, it's gonna be another great move by this team, and we addressed 2 big needs in the span of a week. Right, we got another wide receiver weapon last week for Jay Daniels and Deebo Samuel. We are one of the front runners to land Trey Hendrickson. We've called about Myles Garrett as well. So that goes to show that we want to upgrade this edge rushing unit. And again, according to CBS reporters, Trey Hendrickson may not require as much draft capital for the simple fact that whatever team he goes to is going to have to pay him $30+ million. He's 30 years old. His trajectory seems to continue to climb. And if you're telling me the baseline is 17.5, like, bro, he had 17 in 2023 and 17 in 2024. I'm not even asking for that many sacks. But if you're telling me 13, bro, that's better than anything we've had in years, bro. The last time we had a double-digit sack getter was what, Deron Payne, his contract year? Come on, bro. Could y'all imagine if we got that next year, man? That would be absolutely insane. A lot of people compare him to Ryan Kerrigan, a much better Ryan Kerrigan. He played with number 91, just like RK on the coaching staff. Like, it again makes too much sense. A lot of these players that we're tied to in free agency and in trade talks, it makes too much sense because not only do we have the money, but we have the absolute need for it. So I'm sure Trey Hendrickson thinks this is the best possible landing spot for him, because not only is he going to have the opportunity to get paid, but he's going to have the opportunity to play for a contender. And again, Cincinnati's a franchise. Don't get me wrong, they have money, but they're a franchise that don't really like to spend. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to spend their money, especially on a guy like Trey Hendrickson, when you have guys like Jamar Chase that you want to keep around and who's going to make all the money in the world and pretty much reset the wide receiver market. And for that matter, become the highest non-paid quarterback in NFL history. You know what I'm saying? That always goes up every single time a new player gets paid. However, Washington's owner isn't afraid to spend, and we have the money to spend. So, hey, Trey Hendrickson, you got my vote. If we can't get Myles Garrett, if we can't, you know what I'm saying, find a way to land him, this is the guy that I want as well. Let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comment section. Trey Hendrickson to Washington seems like a very, very legit move that could be made here very shortly. As always, be your boy Juan Gotti. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. You have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.